Those of you who have been to my website know that the national debt is one of the reasons that I was prompted to run for Congress. I want to talk a little bit about our national debt right now. In 1990, when the incumbent was first elected to Congress, the national debt stood at $4 trillion. In 2012, as this election nears, the national debt stands at $16 trillion. Now, in a normal political ad, the music would become very menacing and the announcer would come on with a serious voice and start to demonize the incumbent. But I'm not going to do that. I think it's important that we recognize that all Americans bear responsibility for this debt. We sat by when benefits were increased, taxes were cut, subsidies were doled out, and wars were waged. We knew something wasn't adding up, but we didn't demand accountability, and we believed the happy tunes coming out of Washington. Democracy is not a spectator sport. This problem is our problem. It's all of our fault. There is another part of the story that I do want to talk about today. That's represented by these 4 red cans over here. In 2011, Congress established a super committee and gave it the power to strike a bipartisan deal on our national debt. Now in 2011, the debt stood at $14 trillion, and there were many accounts that suggested the committee had come to a deal to strike another $2 billion off of that. That would have got us to $12 trillion. It's still a lot of debt, but it's vastly better than where we are today. Unfortunately, the super committee couldn't agree on the ratio of spending cuts to tax increases. So instead of doing this, they cut a deal to increase the debt by $2 trillion. And that deal that they cut got us to $16 trillion with the promise that after this next election, they'll get serious about the debt. I believe that Republicans and Democrats wasted a terrific chance to do something better for our children and our grandchildren. I'm asking for your vote and your support on November 6th. I don't have all the answers, and I think we're in for some very rough times around this problem. But I won't be a party to kicking our problems down the road and denying the American dream for our grandchildren.